Imagine a world where the greatest civilization that ever walked the earth left almost nothing behind. No grand pyramids, no crumbling temples, no statues, no scrolls, no written records, only whispers and bone fragments, strands of DNA, and forbidden myths scattered across continents. A world where a human species more advanced than anyone ever told you rose to unimaginable heights, and then vanished so completely, so mysteriously, that even history forgot they ever existed. Tonight, you're about to hear a story hidden for tens of thousands of years. A story archaeologists still refuse to fully explain. Governments avoid discussing, and scientists quietly debate behind closed doors, because the truth is simple and terrifying. We were not the first advanced humans, not even close, and the ones who came before us may have been far more extraordinary. This is the lost history of the Denisovan Super-Civilization. The humans erased from the timeline yet still living inside your DNA. Before we begin, hit like and subscribe, because what you're about to hear is the kind of truth YouTube doesn't show everyone now. Let's go deeper. When a tiny finger bone was discovered in 2008 inside a Siberian cave, no one realized it belonged to the most mysterious humans ever found. At first, archaeologists thought it was just another Neanderthal remain. Nothing special, just another fossil. But the moment geneticists sequenced it, everything changed. The DNA didn't match humans. It didn't match Neanderthals. It belonged to a third branch of humanity, one completely unknown to science. The Denisovans. But here's the twist. This wasn't just another archaic human species. The genetic markers showed something shocking. Denisovans weren't primitive. They weren't slow. They weren't simple. They were powerful, genetically superior in multiple ways, strangely adapted to extreme environments, as if engineered for them, capable of interbreeding with multiple species, leaving behind genetic abilities modern humans can't explain. And what archaeologists discovered next would shake the entire timeline of human civilization. The Denisovans weren't just surviving. They were thriving. They were exploring. They were building, and they might have done it before Homo sapiens even existed. The first evidence appeared not in Siberia, but in the Himalayas, a jawbone discovered on the Tibetan plateau. Above the altitude humans can survive without. Technology showed Denisovan DNA were living in oxygen levels that should have killed them, yet their bodies were perfectly adapted today. Millions of people in Tibet carry a unique gene that lets them survive extreme altitudes, a gene that modern humans do not naturally produce. Where did it come from? From Denisovans. But here's the mind-bending part. No one knows how Denisovans got that gene. Not humans, not Neanderthals, not any known species that appears out of nowhere like an evolutionary jump, a genetic anomaly, a trait you'd expect from selective breeding, advanced adaptation, or something far beyond natural evolution. Scientists still can't explain it, but it hints at one thing. Denisovans weren't just adapted to harsh environments, they might have mastered them. Consider this: Denisovans lived across Asia, Southeast Asia, and possibly Oceania. Not small tribes, not scattered bands, massive populations, multiple regions, multiple climates, yet they left almost no tools, no pottery, no cities, nothing except DNA. It's as if someone erased them, but fragments of Denisovan culture survived in places we weren't supposed to look, like the unexplained megaliths in Southeast Asia. In Indonesia, on the island of Sulawesi, ancient hand stencils date back over 40,000 years, far older than any known Homo sapiens culture in the region. But these weren't primitive markings. The pigments were refined. The placement showed ritualistic intent. The designs suggested symbolism, communication, meaning. Who made them? Humans didn't arrive there that early. Neanderthals never made it that far south. So who left these signs? The Denisovans. But this was just the beginning, because deeper in the jungles of Indonesia lies Gunung Padang, a site geologists now believe is over 20,000 years old, possibly even 30. A pyramid older than every known civilization. Who could build a structure that advanced, that engineered, that early? Certainly not Homo sapiens, at least not according to the official narrative, but Denisovans, a species spread across Asia for hundreds of thousands of years, a species with unexplained genetic advantages, a species strong enough to thrive in extreme environments. Suddenly, the timeline makes sense. The next shocking moment came when archaeologists discovered a Denisovan hybrid, a hybrid with a Neanderthal mother, not just interbreeding, but recently interbreeding, as if these species weren't enemies or strangers, but friends, allies, partners. Meaning Denisovans weren't isolated wild humans, they were explorers, diplomats, traders, bridge builders between species. Think about that for a moment. Two different human species meeting, forming relationships, and having children. This wasn't chaos. This was cooperation. Cooperation hints at culture. Culture hints at society. Society hints at civilization. A civilization older than ours, and maybe far more complex. Now imagine a world 100,000 years ago. Neanderthals in Europe, Homo sapiens just emerging in Africa, other hominids scattered across the world. And in the middle of this prehistoric landscape stands a titan. The Denisovan. Taller, stronger, stranger. carrying genes that humans still rely on today for immunity, for adaptation, for survival. What kind of society produced humans with such advantages? What kind of knowledge did they possess? And why did they vanish? Some scientists think climate change wiped them out. Some think humans hunted them. Some say they simply faded away. But there is another theory, a darker one. What if Denisovans weren't wiped out? What if they were absorbed, hidden, rewritten? Because Denisovan DNA exists today in millions of people. In the Philippines, in Papua New Guinea, in Australia, in China, in Tibet. And here's the twist. Some populations carry as much as 5% Denisovan DNA, which is enormous. Too large for simple ancient interbreeding. Too large for random mixing. Too large to ignore. It suggests long-term coexistence. Coexistence suggests shared culture. Shared culture suggests shared knowledge. And if Homo sapiens inherited even fragments of Denisovan intelligence, Denisovan innovation, Denisovan survival skills, then their civilization may be living on inside us, even if their cities vanished. But did they have cities? That depends on what we consider a city. Let's go to the Philippines. When scientists studied the indigenous people of Luzon, they found something shocking: the highest Denisovan ancestry on Earth. But what was even stranger, these populations had oral traditions, stories that spoke of ancient giants, powerful beings, and great stone structures swallowed by the jungle. For decades, these stories were dismissed as myth. But when excavations began, researchers found megalithic terraces and stone formations far older than known human settlement. Again, too early for Homo sapiens, but not too early for Denisovans. Built advanced structures in Southeast Asia, the Himalayas, and possibly Siberia. Then the picture becomes clearer. This was not a tribe, not a wandering species, not a primitive group. This was a civilization, a super-civilization, spread across thousands of miles, connected by relationships with Neanderthals and early Homo sapiens, possessing genetic traits beyond anything natural evolution can explain, and then completely erased. As if someone wanted them forgotten. The final piece of the puzzle comes from their teeth. Denisovan teeth were huge, far larger than any human. But they weren't malformed. They weren't primitive. They were perfectly structured, as if evolved for a specific purpose. Large teeth mean a powerful jaw. A powerful jaw means a powerful skull. A powerful skull means room for a large brain. In Denisovan, brain capacity might have surpassed Neanderthals, who already had larger brains than us. What does that mean? The smartest humans weren't us, not Neanderthals, but Denisovans. What happens when the most intelligent, most adaptable humans rule a continent for tens of thousands of years? They leave a legacy, a hidden one, a buried one, a forgotten one, but not an erased one. Because their story is written in your DNA. Their structures remain hidden beneath our jungles. Their genes keep Tibetans alive at impossible altitudes. Their fingerprints lie on ancient stones no one can explain. We are not the first advanced humans. We are the survivors of those who came before. And the more we discover, the more undeniable it becomes. The Denisovan Super-Civilization wasn't just real. It may have been the blueprint for everything humanity became, and maybe everything humanity will become again.